Well, what a difference a few days makes. After getting honestly embarrassed by the Miami Heat on Sunday, Milwaukee Bucks roar back in game 2, win 138 to 122 in Jim, a game that was really not even that close.
No, I mean, look, the Bucks set a franchise record, 81 points at the half. Mm-hmm. They tied an NBA record for 25 made threes in a playoff game, which obviously is a franchise record as well. Kassidy, that locker room took it personally that they gave up 130 points in game 1 and only give up, 55 at the break to be leading like that. I think that showed tonight.
I'm glad you bring up the locker room because I wanted to ask you about this. I mean, as you said, they were leading 81-55 at the half, set numerous records. I mean, they dominated in the paint, which they had not done on Sunday. Really, everything that went wrong Sunday went right tonight. They were sharp from 3. They dominated in the paint. I think they scored 52 there tonight. They shot 88% at the free throw line. I mean, was it just a matter of knocking off some rust?
Yeah, I'm going to add in only 4 turnovers at the break as well. Not that they turn over a ton in game 1, but yeah, I don't think they'll say that because they felt they had good practices in the run-up. But I think there's something to be said for none of the regulars really playing for 2 weeks. If you got to go back to that Chicago game where they clinched the 1 seed, Kassidy, whereas the Heat had to keep playing and keep a rhythm to a degree throughout, to lose the first game of the play-in, to win, to get in, to even be in this spot. I'll say that. I do think there was something to the Heat having a little more urgency maybe in game 1, and the Bucks clearly, proved why they were the best team in basketball in the regular season.
That being said, is this a series? They go to Miami this weekend for game 3. They were without Giannis tonight in game 2 because of the injury he suffered in game 1. Is this a series now that they've sort of gotten this game under their belts where they could roll without Giannis if need be for the next couple of games?
I mean, look, you want the MVP on your team, so we'll say that. The Bucks are the better team though, especially look the Heat missing Tyler Hero. That's a huge loss for them. They felt that tonight. Would it have made the difference? I don't think so, but Tyler Hero is a very, very good player. So I think we'll see, obviously, how Giannis progresses or doesn't. If he can't play in games 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever it may be, I do feel they're good enough to beat Miami. Will it look like this? Probably not. The Heat are a prideful team. They're going home with a chance to steal home court advantage or maintain it as they did in game 1. So, but to your question, Cassie, I do think they're the better team. They will win this series with or without the big fella.
Bucks defense was able to limit Jimmy Butler much more in game 2 than in game 1. Although I think he still ended with 28, 22, 28. It's something like that in our official box
25 points.
25. But that felt like limiting him compared to what he did on Sunday. And really so much of the Heat without Tyler Hero went through Jimmy in game 2. And so sort of focusing on him a little bit more made a difference. You look like you want to add to that.
Well, I mean, look, so Jimmy came out and wanted to establish himself in game 1. I think what the Bucks wanted to focus on was not letting him get into that rhythm that he did early, along with Bam Adebayo. I mean, look, those are 2 very good all-NBA caliber players who, not that they had their way with the Bucks, but they clearly set out to make a statement. And I think the Bucks, again, took it personally. Drew Holiday, for instance, did not want Jimmy Butler to have that kind of game again. Jimmy's going to get his numbers. Stars do. But I think when they came, obviously it was not the same as game 1.
Both Bobby Portis and Brook Lopez were huge on defense tonight, making a lot of stops, especially underneath the basket against the Heat. Let's hear what Bud had to say about both of those guys now.
So often in these games when Giannis is out, you guys tend to lean on Brook early in the game. Just what do you think of the start he got you guys off to?
Yeah, he was great. I think his teammates finding him, his teammates looking for him, being in attack mode, everybody, created some good opportunities for Brook, and he delivered.
He only had 10 points in the first game. The fact that he started out so strong, was that just organic, or was that a focal point, like in practice? Did you talk to him? Did he want to take that kind of leadership responsibility role?
It's both. I think, mostly organic. I think he wanted to have an impact on the game. He found spots, he found places, and the guys found him. But it was, to me, it was mostly organic. It was, us moving the ball, us, finding open guys, getting to good spacing, and Brooke being available. And, so I think a lot of it was very organic for Brooke.
But also talked about Drew. Jim, that was something you wanted to ask him about and the difference he made, especially scoring tonight. He seemed to be on the perimeter, under the basket. He was kind of everywhere he needed to be. Is that what they need from him night in and night out if they're going to take this series and on?
Especially if Giannis is out. And Drew has, I think, grown into that the last few years. I mean, he was a 20-point-a-game scorer one year in New Orleans. He's an all-star. He can do that. But I think it's different when you have to sort of, I don't want to say turn it on, but it's different when Giannis is playing. He's clearly the focal point of the scoring offense. Drew also had 11 assists, but when he's been out, or when Giannis has been out, Drew's had this ability to sort of turn it up a little bit offensively, shoot at a little better a percentage, and that they needed that tonight. And yeah, so if Giannis is going to miss games or be limited to a degree, the fact that Drew is more comfortable in those situations and is able to give you 25 to 30, that's a rare gift. I think is one he's gotten better at as the years have gone on, actually.
Let's hear what Bud had to say on Drew as well.
As we've talked about it throughout the year, the silver lining, to guys not playing, to guys not being available, has Drew being Drew being more aggressive, and Drew, finding that comfort with, getting to his spots, getting to his shots, getting to the basket, and I think it's carried over to when we are healthy too. He's just. He can give us a lot, and it's good that, I think we're trying to tap into it. I think he's gotten to a comfortable place and knows how he can impact the game.
Jim, do you need Giannis if you have Joe Ingles, though? He shot 5 of 6 from 3 tonight, which was actually not as even impressive as Pat Connaughton, who went 6 of 10 from 3. But Joe Ingles had the momentum threes, it almost felt like. He shot 2 back-to-back towards the end of the first half that just about blew the roof off this place. I actually realized something tonight that I don't know if other people have caught because I've mentioned it in the media room and no one seemed to realize what I was talking about. When he shoots, the graphic on the screen is the James Bond graphic, and I'm assuming since he's number 7, that's a 007 reference.
I would think so.
Check it out next time.
I'll have to look a little more closely at that. Look, when there's a formula for the Bucks winning without Giannis, 11-8 in the regular season, 2 of those losses at the end of the year, so let's call it 11-6. There's a common theme, and Drew Holiday scoring, Brooke and Bobby, and then also a player off the bench hitting a bunch of threes, scoring in double figures. Now tonight it was 2 guys, Pat Connaughton and Joe Ingles. To win a championship, both of those guys are going to be key contributors. Joe Ingles is going to have to hit those threes and talk that trash afterward. So it had to be good for the Bucks and for those 2 in particular to have that kind of game tonight and maybe get their series started with a good game.
They head to Miami now, South Beach. Will you be going to South Beach as well?
Yes.
Be careful. Nothing good ever happens in Miami. That's just a good life lesson for you there.
That's what I've heard.
Game 3 this weekend. If you see this Bucks team again, it feels like this series could be over a lot quicker than maybe we thought on Sunday. What do you sort of expect of this team to travel? I guess that's the way I'm asking that.
Yeah, obviously it all starts with 34. He's got another couple of days off. He was upgraded to questionable. Now Mike Budenholzer said before the game that was to allow him to play. There's some rules there with how they're listed. Was he really questionable? I don't know. We'll find out in Miami. Now, regardless, the thing that has to travel is that sort of effort on defense. Are they going to score 150 points? Probably not. They're not going to shoot 60% for 3, just like the Heat weren't going to do it like they did in Game 1. Right. Defense is what travels. Exactly. The Heat played good defense to a degree on against the Bucks in Game 1. The Bucks did it in Game 2. That's what Milwaukee's going to have to travel, especially without Wesley Matthews. I don't know if he'll be able to come back with that calf strain. in Game 3. Jay Crowder left for a little bit with a knee after hitting the court earlier in the game. So we'll have to keep an eye on that, Kassidy. So it is going to be that defensive effort, I think, to me, that needs to go to South Beach.
Well, Jim will be in South Beach as well, so make sure to follow him for all of your Game 3 coverage this weekend. But first, we're going to finish wrapping up Game 2 for a huge record-setting win for the Milwaukee Bucks here over the Miami Heat in the first round of the NBA playoffs. For Jim, I'm Kassidy. Thanks so much, guys. We'll see you next time.